welcome back to my channel. I have a cooking video for you. I get asked to make cooking videos and what I eat in a day videos all the time. But the problem is I don't ever have, what?
All the time.
I do, it's like my most requested thing. That's what I would say to anyone. I get asked to make these videos all the time. The problem is I don't have like actual recipes. I go on Pinterest and I look for inspiration and then I just kind of throw things together. I don't measure things out unless it's baking. That's a little bit different. But I also feel a little bit guilty because pretty much all of the food we make is usually pasta and broccoli. And that gets old and boring, I think. I don't think you guys would want to see a million different videos of variations of some sort of pasta and broccoli. But today I'm switching it up a tiny bit and using asparagus. So this is gonna be delicious. You wanna see how to make it? Then just keep watching. First thing is always gonna be to cook your pasta. You guys criticize me for salting my water so much, for using so much salt in my cooking, but I have really low blood pressure. What? Hey, go tell daddy, go potty. And I like salty foods. I like flavorful foods. So, yes, I use a lot of salt. So again, how much pasta you cook, how much sauce you make, totally up to you. This is a meal that you can add chicken with. I usually make probably 3/4 of a bag. So if a bag is a pound of pasta, I make 3/4 of a pound. And that feeds, all three of us, and sometimes we have leftovers as well. So pasta's gonna get cooking first thing. Here's my little trick for pasta sauces. If you're gonna be using some sort of red sauce, then you can hide some veggies in there. You can hide cauliflower, you can hide carrots, you can hide spinach. I always do spinach, but I do know, like, if you're just doing a white sauce, you can use cauliflower as a base. A lot of white sauces want you to make like a bechamel, like that's how you make mac and cheese, where you do like butter and flour to kind of make a paste first, and then you add your liquids to make it creamy. But you can actually use pureed cauliflower instead. But this is gonna be a combination of red and white sauce basically. So it's gonna be like a pink sauce or orange sauce. So what I'm gonna do is put some red sauce and spinach in a food processor, blender, and the spinach will just hide and it'll make it look a tiny bit weird colored, but you won't even be able to taste it, and it'll add obviously fiber and good nutrition. I'm not using a ton of red sauce because I'm gonna use white sauce as well. So I don't want it to be too tomatoey. I want it to be a good combo. So anyway, I'm just doing a little bit of red and spinach and just making sure all the spinach gets in there and chopped up good. The thing I'm doing is just preparing my asparagus. So just cutting off those woodsy ends that are...
Woodsy?
Isn't that what they are?
Woody?
Woody. Woodsy, as if it smells like the wood. Woody, because it's like eating a tree branch or something. And this is gonna go into my cast iron skillet, and this is the magical part of asparagus. For me, the most difficult part of cooking is the timing of everything, making sure that the sauce is ready, but not the pasta's ready. And then you're like, okay, I have these two different things that are supposed to go together, but they're not ready at the same time. Or then the pasta might be all ready, but I waited too long to cook my veggies, and so now we're waiting on my veggies, or I cooked my veggies too quickly, and now either they're soggy and overcooked, or they're cold because they've been done and they're just sitting around waiting. So I'm not doing anything with my asparagus yet. I'm not doing anything with that sauce I got started yet. Right now I'm just letting the pasta start cooking, and then once it's been cooking for a little bit is when I will get started on the asparagus. While the pasta is cooking is when I start getting things ready, like getting my strainer out and put in the sink, because I can't tell you how many times I've had the pasta be ready to be drained and I'm like, oh crap, I need to get it off the heat so it doesn't overcook, but I don't have my strainer out, and then I'm like rushing to get things done. And so I'm just trying to not have pregnancy brain and get things prepared, like getting cheese cut up, cheese grated, things that I can do ahead of time. That way it's easier for me to just grab it when I'm ready for it in the cooking process. You know, a lot of people make white sauces with like chicken stock, butter, flour, milk, and it's really complex. The way we make white sauce is really, really easy. It's just butter, heavy cream, seasoning, and cheese. So I always try to get the best cheese because that's what makes it taste the best. And typically it's from Trader Joe's, but Trader Joe's is like 15 minutes away, and that's kind of not a store I go to very often. I pretty much get all my groceries other places. I could get some stuff at Trader Joe's, but typically I only go to Trader Joe's to get their Parmesan cheese. And we're running a little bit low on our grocery money this month, so I decided to try out a cheaper cheese. This I got at Winco. It's still Parmigiano Reggiano. It says it was aged for 22 months and it's from Italy, and it smells very strong upon opening it. It smells very nutty and funky. So that's how you know it's a good cheese. Nutty and funky. So I'm just gonna cut up some Parmesan cheese, and then in this pasta, I'm actually gonna do some fresh mozzarella as well. And this is what's gonna make it extra delicious. So fun little story. I was watching the whatever cooking channel show, don't know what it was, and I saw that they were shaving Parmesan cheese like with a potato peeler. And I have always grated Parmesan cheese, but it takes a lot of effort using this grater, for me anyway. So I have since started using a potato peeler to shave off the Parmesan cheese, and it still melts down great, and it's just way easier. So that is a little tip I have for you for Parmesan cheese. It's not an onion, it's cheese. Cheese. Not for you. It goes on the pasta. You're gonna eat it with the pasta. Okay, we're gonna have the cheese in a little bit. Nope, don't touch. Don't touch a knife. Ouchie. Nope, don't open. Close. Thank you. Nope, you're not having cheese yet. Oh my goodness, I just broke that block of cheese. Now is when I'm gonna get my asparagus going. So I'm gonna turn my cast iron on the stove on medium. I'm gonna add a little bit of oil, not a ton, because I don't want to drown the asparagus. I'm gonna put the asparagus in and move it all around in the oil so that it's coated. And I'm not letting the oil heat up first because I do not want it to be hot and spitting at me, and I'm just gonna let it get to temperature. Once it looks like the asparagus is all coated in the oil is when I will put the seasoning on it. And this seasoning makes it taste so, so good. I'm not afraid to be generous. Making sure it's all coated, every piece. And then I pretty much just let it sit there and cook. And I think it's like the slight charring that makes it taste really good. I'll stir it around a couple times just to make sure every piece gets cooked evenly. But the last time I made it like this, CJ said it tasted like steak, and it was the best asparagus he's ever had in his life. So I'm doing the same thing again. So I just strained the pasta. Now I'm gonna get started on my white sauce here. I just have to let my cream get thick. You can hear the asparagus cooking over here. So just giving it a couple stirs at the same time. The cream doesn't take too long to thicken up, and once it is, then I will add the spinach red sauce mixture to it. I added just a little bit of garlic to the cream. I don't need to add a ton because there is going to be red sauce mixed with it. The red sauce obviously already has like onion and garlic and stuff, so I'm just adding a tiny bit of garlic and a little bit of salt to the cream. Because we like garlic and we like salt. I'm sure you guys know that by now. And then obviously once I combine the red sauce with this, I'll be tasting it to see what else it needs more of. Hopefully you can see how the heavy cream is starting to like foam and bubble. That's how you know it's getting thicker. It doesn't need to like boil like a normal liquid, but it kind of like develops the skin on it. It's getting foamy. So it's thickening. That's what we want. And then I'll add the red sauce to it. Because my asparagus is in a skillet that will keep its temperature, I have turned the heat off and it'll just keep cooking a little bit, but I'm getting to the point where I'm pretty much done with the asparagus. Now I'm just gonna add the red sauce spinach mixture to this, and you'll see the funky color it makes. It almost looks like brown because it's like orange with green. So it looks a little bit nasty in color, but flavor is delicious.
Banana.
The flavor is bananas? Oh, okay. I've combined the sauces. You can see the color it is. It's decently thick. It's just gonna get thicker now. But I've turned the heat off, but I'm still leaving it on the heat, if that makes sense. So the stove is turned off, but it's still warm. And I'm just gonna add in the mozzarella cheese so that it can melt. And once that starts to get melted down, at the very end is when I'll add the Parmesan cheese and then the pasta. The asparagus is done cooking. It's just sitting in the skillet, staying warm. I'm just gonna stir this around and taste it for flavor and see if it needs more salt or pepper or anything. And if it turns out that I like cooked too much pasta or something, I just don't add all the pasta, or I can always add a little bit of extra red sauce at the end. That's what I do if I didn't do good ratios of sauce. But typically I'll just not add all the pasta that I cooked because sometimes I get a little crazy when I pour all the pasta in the water. Okay, so I took the sauce off the heat. I added the Parmesan cheese in. Now I'm just gonna add the pasta in. We'll see how the ratio is. Looks pretty good thus far. And then at the end, I'll just garnish it with a tiny bit of basil and Parmesan cheese. And that's it. Okay, you guys, there it is. Really hard to not cast a shadow, but that's my dinner and it's pretty easy. I hope you love it. I think it's super delicious. Let me know if you make it and what you think of it, and I'll see you in my next video.